Hey, I'm Trevor from Eskimo. I'm here with an Outbreak 850. We're going to take it down, show you how to put it back in the bag. But first I wanted to show you this compression strap that's around the shelter when you first take it out of the bag. It's important to have that at the end of the day too. So in order not to lose that, what I normally do is I'll feed it through the hub strap and I'll secure it at that point. And then I can fish all day and not have to worry about where I put it before you collapse any of your shelters down. Put your window flaps up. That's one less piece of fabric that's flopping around while you're trying to roll this up, and it reduces the bulk in the shelter. The other one is to make sure any of the D doors are fully closed. You can collapse the roof first or last. I've typically always collapsed the roof first. It's been easier for me. You don't have to reach across the rest of the shelter then. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Half zip on the Outbreak door is plenty. And then I'm just going to walk around and push all the wall hubs in. Gather the skin together all onto one side. And at this point you can see one side of the shelter and the other side. At this point I'm gonna lift up in the middle triangle here, and then it'll gather the two hub centers together. So make sure you gather all the fabric in the middle. You pick up and it gathers the hubs together. It's probably one of the more crucial steps in collapsing a shelter to get it rolled back into the bag, and that's to take all of these triangle sections of fabric and organizing them to one side of the shelter. So you'll end up with all the hubs and poles on one side and as much of the triangle sections of fabric on the other side. With all of your triangle sections of fabric on one side and your hubs and poles on the other side, I'm actually going to kneel down on the fabric side, and this will help keep it nice and tight as you roll it. I'm going to roll the hub and pole end towards me, and I'll put a little bit of pressure on it while I do that, and then I'll swing my leg over, and at that time you have the shelter pretty much collapsed and contained. And I'll pull out my compression strap, and normally your hubs will lift up just enough to get that strap under. Our oversized carry bags are belled on the top, so they are designed to accommodate more of the fabric towards the top as it enters. So then what you do is you just slide the bag over top of the hubs and work it down the shelter. And at that point you can either leave it up and put your compression straps on, or typically I'll just let it fall and then work on the straps after I have the anchors and wind poles in. Now here's a smaller Outbreak 350. It still collapses similarly. You're going to fold it up the same way. It's just overall going to be quicker. common mistakes people might encounter while they're putting their shack back in the bag. If it's wet and frozen, of course, that's going to make it more difficult. But you follow the same steps. It might take a little bit more time, but it's really getting the fabric all into those triangle sections and making sure your poles and hubs are on the same side, and then rolling it in the method that we showed. If you had a day of fishing, what you really want to do is go home and try and get this thing dried out. Last thing you want to do is bring it in a warm spot and just let it stay wet. So, Trevor with Eskimo, that was how to put your shelter back in a bag.